Spend any time working on clients' projects or your own projects or design in general, and you'll very quickly realize that you have a need to organize all the assets, the images, the video, the links, all those kinds of things. Today, we're going to revisit a new version of a tool that became my media management tool of choice a couple of years back. Link to that video here if you want to check it out, which is Eagle. Now, one of the reasons I'm going back to this is because Eagle version 4 has just been released. And with it, they bring one key new feature that I think makes this even more powerful and even more useful than it already is. Now, I'm not going to go over everything I covered in the previous video because, to be honest, a lot of it hasn't really changed. There's been some tweaks and enhancements, but the fundamental principles are exactly the same. Eagle is a media management tool that allows you to organize all manner of different kinds of media, video, document files, image files, links, all those kinds of good things. And as you can see, if we take a look at my particular Eagle, you can see I've got things broken down to various different sections on the left-hand side, all to do with inspiration, client projects, those kinds of things. Now, one of the things that makes this even more useful, in my opinion, is the fact that I can easily use any kind of online cloud storage to synchronize all of my libraries together. In my example, I use pCloud. So I've got connections to every device that I use that has Eagle installed on it. So all of this is synchronized. As soon as I add something, it's automatically synchronized across all those devices. Incredibly useful, in my opinion. Now, what exactly is this key new feature that I think changes everything about how you're going to use Eagle? It's basically add-ons or plugins. So what am I talking about? Once you install Eagle version 4, and a link in the description if you want to find out more about this, you'll see you have this new option called plugins. You can press P on your keyboard if you want to bring this up, or you can use the little icon, and this allows you then to go to the plugin center. Now, at the moment, there's probably about 15 or 20 plugins, and hopefully this is something that will grow. But there's some incredibly useful plugins in here. Let's go and take a look at the plugin center. So this is really super easy. Things broken down the left-hand side, everything then in that section in the main window. Couldn't get much simpler, could it really? But let's take a look at some of the things that I think are super useful. For example, the video thumbnail extension expands the video format supported by Eagle, enabling thumbnail generation for all common image types or video types. If you use this to manage videos, this will automatically create thumbnails for you. Again, really, really useful. We also have things like the AI background remover, AI image enlarger. So if you want to make an image bigger, Image Crop Master, this is the one that I think is incredibly valuable. What this allows you to do is apply multiple crops to one image at the same time and then export all those crop versions at the same time. Let me show you. Let's install this. Simple as clicking this option and say install. We now have that new feature enabled. Now I can close this down, come back up to my plugin center, and you can see there's my Image Crop Master. What I can do is I can click on that. The image then will open up. So now what I can do is I can apply a crop. There's my first crop. Simple. I can export that if I want to. I can choose what format I want to export it to, including WebP. So if you're using this for the web, you can do it all directly inside here. Now I want to add another one in. Let's add another crop in. Oh, look, I've got another crop in there. I can adjust that. I can resize it. I can get exactly what I want. Add another one in. Add another one in. You kind of get the idea. We can add these multiple crops in. If I find that I want to change something, I can name it from here. I can adjust the width and height if I want to. All be done either directly inside the editor, and you can see we get a little preview of this in real time over on the right-hand side. So we can get exactly what we want. We can adjust it. We can reposition it, making sure we get the exact crop that we want. And now all I need to do is choose my file format. We'll say WebP, hit export. I have 3 files exported using those different crops. How cool is that? No longer do you need to crop, open the image back up, remove the crop, do the same thing again, save each individual time. You can do all those crops in one time inside the Image Crop Master plugin inside Eagle. I think this is really, really cool. Let's take a look at some of the other options available in these plugins. Now I've installed a few more, and let's take a look first of all at the upscaling. So this is using AI to upscale. Now I think personally this works probably better on illustrations, but your mileage may vary. Let's take this example. It's a pretty low resolution file with 1456 by 816, so it's not the best quality. So let's just go and open up the plugins, and we'll say we want to use the AI image enlarger. You will need to download an AI library to start off with, but once that's done, you need to do it one time. Now I have found this is not as quick as using a tool like Pixelmator Pro, which is almost instantaneous. It's incredibly fast. But in a pinch, like I said, this will do a good job. There we go. We now have our upscaled versions. This is a 4x upscaling. So you can see down the bottom, we can zoom in and zoom out, so we can take a look at the before and after. Left-hand side is the before, right-hand side is the after. The better version, though, is this split comparison, which allows us to easily then compare the two side by side. So let's zoom in a little bit. So we take a look at the right-hand side is the upscaled, the left-hand side is the original. You can see as we move over, we do lose quite a lot of the sort of fine detail, the sort of brushstroke detail in the image. Hopefully this will come across in the video. But although I do think the compromise here, losing that fine detail in this example to give us a much sharper, higher resolution image for the rest of it is probably a kind of compromise you're happy to make. You can choose from two different options. You can see conversion settings. We can switch between photo and illustration. This will potentially change the AI algorithms being used to give you the results, but you kind of get the idea. Then what we can do is we can save this as, or we can replace the original with a higher resolution version. Up to you how you want to work. Next up, I've installed the histogram option, and you'll see inside the inspector, we now have a histogram for any of the images that we choose. Cool thing with this is we can easily come over to the channels and we can split this down between the RGB or CMYK or what color model you're using, the luminance, or we can use the RGB combined. So you can see we can set this up inside here, so it's pretty cool to see we can choose that. So it's kind of useful if you want to quickly check exposure. If you're using this for working with photographs and so on, the histogram allows you to very quickly check those things. A nice, useful little addition. Now, let's say you've got a bunch of images all in one format. You want to upload these to the internet. Well, let's say we want to select all of these and we want to convert them from PNGs or JPEGs, whatever, to a different file format. Well, again, all we need to do is right click or choose the plugin options. From there, we can choose the window and we can choose the image compressor. Open that up. This will now list all of the images that we've chosen. We can come down to the compression settings and we can set things up inside here for the format that we want to use. So for example, for WebP, I might want to set this to about 75%. Seems like a nice compromise. You can then just simply go and click Save Settings, and then you can just compress the images. So we'll hit Compress Images. That will go through all 8 images. It'll then tell us the original size, the format, and the compressed size. There you go. After a few moments, there's our compressed versions. Finally, let's quickly take a look at converting these to different formats. So come up again to our plugins. We can choose the image format converter. Very similar interface. We can choose what format we want to convert these to, from PNG, JPEG, WebP, or bitmap. So these are currently all PNGs. Let's change them to WebP, for example. Set a compression ratio. So you could use this instead if you wanted to convert it and, kind of do that side of things. Say format conversion, click, let that go through, confirm they're completed, and you can see there's the file saving from the original PNG over to the new format and the file sizes and so on. So pretty cool to see that. Again, we can close that down. Once that's completed and closed down, we come back into Eagle itself, and now you can see there our images have all been converted to WebP format. Pretty cool. Now, these plugins, in my opinion, open up a lot of really useful possibilities, and hopefully this is something that will expand and will get even more over the coming weeks and months. But I think this is a really useful addition to what is already a really solid digital asset management tool. I've been using this for many, many years, and like I say, connect this up to a cloud platform like pCloud or Dropbox and have one centralized location across all of your devices, in my opinion, is an absolute game changer for productivity when it comes to working with various different types of assets. These additional features means that I don't have to rely now upon third-party tools to do a single job, like convert from one image format to another, to apply multiple different crops and then save those out in one simple operation. These are really, really useful tools. But what are your thoughts? Let me have them in the comments section below. If you want to find out more about working with Eagle, you can check out my previous video here, and the links for everything are down below. My name is Paul C. This is WPTuts, and until next time, take care.